Hi everybody, my name is Rick. Welcome to my Idaho cabin. Hi folks, today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be pressure canning potatoes. But first I want to mention a couple things. I want you to follow the expert's advice on how to can vegetables or whatever you're canning. It's a perfectly safe procedure, but you need to follow directions. And the instructions are best followed or found in the Ball Book of Preserving, or on online, the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I have been watching a video on YouTube here recently where the lady mentions that she's been canning for 2 years. She does two things that really need to be addressed. First of all, she reuses her lids. That is a definite no-no. It's not recommended by the Ball. It's not recommended by the National Center. In fact, both specifically say do not do it. But this lady does it, and she's out there telling YouTubers it's okay to do it. Well, it's not. This is the lid. It has a sealing compound around here. It's designed for one-time only use. The other thing that she does is she doesn't soak her lids in warm water prior to use. Well, these are made by Ball, and Ball specifically says put them in simmering water for about 10 minutes before you use them. So, you know, follow directions, people. It's just not safe to do it any other way. Potatoes and other vegetables will turn brown when exposed to air after being cut. Now, I'm going to be dicing these potatoes. So in order to prevent browning, I'm going to soak them in a solution of citric acid and water for 5-10 minutes before actually parboiling them. I have a solution of citric acid, 1 teaspoon of citric acid per gallon of water in the sink here, and as I cut the potatoes, I'm going to be putting the potatoes into that solution until I get enough to process. First thing we need to do is to dice our potatoes. So what I usually do is cut the potatoes into about thirds, maybe about 1 inch thick like that, and then I'll cut these in half lengthwise and dice them to where they're about between 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch in square or cube. I was watching a video the other day on YouTube. A woman was making beef stew, and the whole video was about 16 minutes long. For over 9 minutes, the first part of the video showed her chopping vegetables using a paring knife. Now, chef's knife is the thing to do, and I'm not going to bore you with doing that, so I'll come back when I get the potatoes diced. While I'm preparing the vegetables, in addition to the citric acid, I have 2 pots of water boiling, or this one is on simmer and this one is boiling, because after the potatoes have been soaked or pre-treated with the citric acid, they have to be boiled for 2 minutes, and then they're put into the jars. Then you fill the jars with hot water, and then you put them in the canner. Now the canner has, or will have, hot water in the bottom just simmering. But first, you put a rack in the bottom of the canner to keep the jars off the bottom, because if they rest on the bottom, they could possibly break. So you put them on a rack first. And then between the layers, so I'm going to have more than one layer. The quarts are going to come up to about there. And then I can put another lid on there. Another one of these things anyway. I have a second one of these that'll go on top of the bottom layer of jars, and then I can put the top layer of jars on there too, so I have two rows of quart jars. This will hold 14 quarts or 19 pint jars. It's 9:30. Okay, the potatoes have been in the boiling water for 2 minutes. Now I'm going to take them out and let them drain. Now we'll take our canning funnel and we'll put some of the potatoes in the jar. We'll fill it up to right about the bottom of this area right here. Oops. These jars do not have to be sterile. They'll get sterilized in the cooking process. Okay, now I fill the jar with hot water. I think I'm going to take that one out. Right up to the ring. And then, to make sure there's no air bubbles down in there, we'll take this little plastic thing and run it around. Okay. I think I'm going to add just a touch more water. Okay. And these lids have been soaking in the in hot water. Oh, minor thing. Hang on. I have here a vinegar solution, and I'm going to wipe the rim to make sure that there's no debris or anything else on it. So it'll be nice and clean. Now it's ready to have the lid put on and a band. Come on, get on there. We'll just put it just finger tight. Now I'll put this in the canner. And we'll go on to jar number 2. Do it one more time, just to show you how it works. All right. One more. Okay. We'll fill this up with water. Leaving about 3/4 of an inch of head space. Okay, now we'll clean the top again. And it's ready for a lid and a ring. And that one's ready to go into the canner. Okay, I'll keep this process up until we get the canner full. Okay, the canner is now completely full. I have 14 quarts in there. So now, let's put this baby on. There's an arrow on this canner to tell me where to line this up, how to line it up properly. So we'll put it over here and then close it like that. Make sure it's more or less level. And then we'll start tightening these tie downs across from each other on opposite sides so it goes down. Just finger tight at first. Okay, that pardon my back. Just want to make sure it's more or less level, which it is. Okay, so now we'll just tighten it down snugly. Okay, now the heat on here is on high. And let me get over here and I'll show you. The weight is off. So I'm going to wait till this heats up enough to steam will start coming out of here, out of the petcock, and you let it steam vent for 10 minutes, and then you put the weight on. And then you wait until the pressure builds up and this weight will start rocking and jiggling. Then you can cut the heat down a little bit, and that's when this thing starts to jiggle, that's when you start your time. And for the pints, it's 90 minutes, so hour and a half. So we'll just leave the weight right here and wait till this thing starts to vent. Okay, the steam has just started venting out of the petcock over there, so I set the timer for 10 minutes. And once the 10 minutes are up, then we'll put the weight on and start cooking. I did check the book, and the correct time for processing is 40 minutes, not an hour and a half. So always check the books. My bad. The canner has now been venting for 10 minutes. So time to put the weight on. This is an adjustable weight I can put on for 5, 10, or 15 pounds of pressure. At my altitude, 4,300 feet, I have to use 15 pounds of pressure. So we'll put that on and let it build up pressure, and then when this thing starts to jiggle a little bit like that, then we'll start the timing. Okay, it's now reached 15 pounds of pressure and the weight is jiggling. So I can turn the heat down on this just a little bit to reduce that jiggling just a little bit. But since it's up to pressure, so we'll start the timer for 40 minutes. Well, the timer just went off, so now comes the easy part. You just turn it off and leave it alone. Now we have to let it depressurize all on its own. Wait till the gauge comes down all the way to 0, and then take the weight off, leave it alone. Well, there's the end results. That's 14 quarts of taters. So we'll wash those jars and right on the tops there what they are when they were packed, and we'll put them away. Well, thanks for joining me for another episode of My Idaho Cabin. If you like these videos, please click the subscribe button down below or the thumbs up, whatever you care to. And if you don't like it, put on the thumbs down. That's okay too. Just want you to know that we'll be here for you, and I'll keep making videos, and I hope you enjoy them. So until next time, this is Rick at My Idaho Cabin.